MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain. None specialized in just basketball growing up, yet by age 10 I thought I had to specialize to have a chance. Even Steve Nash, closer to my build, didn't start playing basketball till age 12. I had chronic knee pain by age 12 from so much overuse already. I had to manually restore balance to my body, basically by training the opposites of what basketball overdoes. In basketball, forward and high positions are overdone, leaving backward and low positions underdone.
When Ben played for me, I don't know if he could even touch the rim. Going from a guy that could barely slap backboard and now is throwing down windmill dunks is unbelievable.
The main exercises I used: backward strengthening with a sled or dead mill, more backward strengthening with the reverse step-up progression, low strengthening with the ATG split squat progression, and more low strengthening with the ATG squat progression. Then fill in the gaps for a well-rounded program. For the knee, this includes the calf and tibialis below it and the hamstrings behind it. So my primary job is helping people restore the balance of their body. But there's also this false idea in sports development that you have to overdo things in order to be great. So with the knee, I show what to do. Well, what about sports development? I can share what I actually did because I coached basketball for a few years around here, and I became a specialist at taking guys who were unrecruited and getting them full ride scholarships, in some cases completely unrecruited, all the way through high school, and then in 1 year with me getting a D1 full ride scholarship. So no, I'm not talking about not being skilled. I was able to radically change players' skill while not pushing them through knee pain. In fact, fixing knee pains, getting more athletic. I did some very unusual things that people thought I was nuts for, that I've never seen before or since in basketball. Here's the 5 things I did. Number 1, we weren't back-to-back days on the basketball court. I found you get plenty good at basketball 3 days a week versus 5 days working through nagging injuries. You get lower in your defensive stance, your moves are crisper, they're sharper. Guys like MJ and Kobe are famous for going harder in practice than other players. I wanted guys like that. I'd rather have them practice 3 days a week more like MJ than 5 days a week like a stiff. Then you're thinking, well, what about skill development? That's a personal thing. I wasn't going to hold back the best players by doing drills dumbed down for the entire team. Not to mention, I don't want every player on the team having the same skills. I don't want every player making the same moves with the ball in their hands. Other guys are rarely ever going to have the ball in their hands, and they need to be able to make the right moves for them. So how could I make the whole team do the same skills drills? Personal. So as warm-up or cool-down for the practice, that's when they did their personal skill development. And then the practice itself, we're doing something competitive each time. So we either have a scheduled game or within our team, or if we didn't have a ton of players, sometimes 7, 8 guys, or even 6 guys, then they would play against me and the other ATG guys here. So they almost didn't know what it was like to lace up and not be at least in that MJ mentality where you're trying to win and do your best. So not back-to-back days on the court. Practice skill development being an individual thing as warm-up or cool-down for those 3 times on the court, up to 3 times. What about the days in between? We were doing ATG. These guys were developing their bodies. Some of them finally able to put muscle on from not being overtrained, building strength around the knees, skyrocketing vertical jumps. We weren't out of shape. We're still physically developing 5, 6 days a week. That's plenty for a young body. And then you're getting better quality at each one rather than overtrain in practice, then overtrain in the weight room and just going in circles. So for better players, they still wanted to be doing thinking, breathing basketball every day. So this opened up more film study of their own games, and also studying the players that they wanted to play like. In my opinion, the best skill coach in the world for basketball is you watching what you want to be able to do in your favorite players in slow motion until you can completely duplicate exactly what their feet are doing. I don't think any drill beats trying to duplicate what's actually working for the best players. And you'd be stunned. Lower level guys will go through their routine moves and have no idea that they're not even stepping in the same directions as their favorite players when the same moves are made. I don't think any drill, and sometimes drills even breed bad habits because you're actually training yourself to do something that's not what's actually working for the best players. Then number 5, it was a school team. So if a kid was in trouble and needed punishment, I wouldn't just make them run. They would have to do 200 yards on the sled. And it was like, I forget the limit, it was maybe like 2 minutes or 3 minutes with your own body weight on the sled. Nothing crazy, but it was like, you couldn't just walk it out. It was like, you're pushing a heavy sled. You get in trouble with that, you're building mental toughness, but you're not beating up your body. Because sled, especially when you go sled forward and backward, the weight's not bearing down on you. honestly just powers your legs up even more, improves your jump, your bounce even more, your conditioning. So that way it was something that was actually like if you've done real sledding, it's like harder than just going and running a mile. But rather than beating up your body, it builds up your body. It makes you more of a beast. So sometimes I see that the very punishments coaches are giving are then making the players stiffer, more painful in their joints, so they can't even get low on defense or whatever it was that they were in trouble for not doing. So that was the sled was our punishment. Those 5 things are completely insane. No one's done them before or since coaching teams, but I haven't seen guys change at that rapid of a rate who weren't naturally great basketball players. So I think there's a ton of potential with this, and I hope this helps.